Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And man, we got a show here for you guys here today. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let me just get into this one here. The number one trending topic right now in the NBA, apart from the fact that the NBA season is over, is what the Dallas Mavericks did on, I believe it was Friday night. The Dallas Mavericks had an outside shot at making it into the play-in to go in there and go compete to try to see if they can win a championship. Instead, what they decided to do was rest all of their five starters. They only played one starter, and Luka Doncic, for 12 minutes and 35 seconds, and essentially tanked that game, lost the game, 115 to 112, in order for them to protect their 10th pick. Essentially, that's what it was all for. When that news broke, various voices in the media, like Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, and others, blasted the Dallas Mavericks for doing that, especially Chris Broussard. I have never heard Chris Broussard that fired up over any topic. The last time I heard him that fired up was when he was talking about Joel Embiid on Undisputed when they were first introducing Nick Wright and these guys. That was the last time he was like really shouting in that particular show there. So even us, we went out there, we said our thoughts. I said my thoughts. I was pretty fired up about it. But this thing about sports media, whenever a story breaks on a Friday, the bigger companies are not going to cover it because these guys take off the weekend. And then on Monday, you know these guys are going to cover it. So what happened? This morning, on one of their most viewed shows, Get Up, featuring host Mike Greenberg, they were on there talking about what? This very matter. This same matter, which was what the Dallas Mavericks just did there. And during the process of having this discussion, Mike Greenberg actually started to lose his composure because he could not believe what his colleagues were saying, or rather advocating for, on live television. But before we get into his comments, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's a sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is, we want to play this exchange for you guys. It's a little lengthy, but I want you guys to listen to it in its entirety, and then we're going to come back and really unload on this topic. Take a listen to what was said here.
An extraordinary, apt punishment would be to take that pick they were tanking, openly tanking, in order to keep and give it away. Take the top 10 protection away from it or whatever they want because of what they did here, completely tinkering with the integrity of the sport itself. And again, I commend the league for looking into this. They're aggravated. I saw you immediately go head in hands. Most people have had a couple of days to react to this. What do you feel about it?
It's a hot mess, right? Like, I think, and I'm surprised you came down hard just now in your reaction. I don't think that it should come to the worst case scenario in terms of punishment, but just shut your mouths. Just stop talking and go about your business in a quiet fashion. I mean, that's what it comes down to for me in this way. It's so funny, though. I was with a photographer over the weekend at the Women's Final Four, and he kept saying, we got to tank, we got to tank, we got to tank. I was like, no. And then here they are. So from a business standpoint, I know we're all sort of exasperated, but it makes sense. An 82% chance versus a 14% chance. Just shut your mouth and do whatever you're going to do.
See, I have such a problem with that.
I know you do, but
because it's one thing if either way they weren't going to make the playoffs. If losing the game just meant finishing 10th versus 11th, but there was nothing else whatsoever at stake, I would feel one way. Winning out, they could make it into the play-in.
And do what?
And try to win games and championships, which is what they're supposed to be there in the first place for.
Greeny, the writing is on the wall. It's been on the wall since that trade. I hear you. Yes, the ratings would be fantastic. We love watching Luka and Kyrie. We love talking about it. But no, they're not going nowhere. What are we doing? Just be quiet. They're not going nowhere.
So every time I sit here and I say, well, we know they're not going anywhere, but they have to believe they're going somewhere, you're telling me, no, they know. We're not going anywhere. We're not good enough to do anything, so we're just not even going to try.
Yeah.
So that's where we are now. Okay, I get it. I hear you. I understand the logic behind it, but I'm D-Wood. I don't even know that the chair is going to make it. D-Wood, what is your reaction to this?
Let Marcus talk first. I'm not ready yet.
Swagoo, what? I mean, what?
I'm with Monica. First of all, last week, shut up, man. Don't say you all in and you're going to try to get this thing done. And then you sit Kyrie and you play Luka the limited minutes along with some other starters in that game. But also, here's the thing, all right? And we got Monica, I'm with you because we put in the world don't know this. And yes, it's frustrating because we all high level competitors and we want to play and we want to go with this notion that every team has the only agenda to win a championship. That is not true once you get to certain points in the season. I hate to break that news to the American public in these sports that I love, and y'all know how much I love the NBA. But when you don't play Kyrie and Luka, you tank it with the opportunity to try to go win a playoff game or get into the play-in.
Right,
that is exactly what...
If you're talking about an organization, to stick with your football example, that has not been to the playoffs, that's one conversation. The Mavericks were in the conference finals a season ago or 2 seasons ago. So this is not a team that has been in despair and has not had success. They need to get help around Luka. Hey, big fella, the best way to get help around you is if we hold on to this draft pick. I need you to just ride it out the rest of the way.
What is your take on the entire decision? I can't believe that people are disagreeing with me on this.
Well, just to finish off your Jet story, Peyton Manning, they sat Peyton Manning them down.
To this day.
During the game.
Right.
We win this game. We basically backdoor into the playoffs and basically was knocking on the door to the Super Bowl.
They went to the AFC Championship game.
We went to the AFC Championship.
How often does that happen? Because Greeny has this outlier example that's not real life. It doesn't happen often.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe the basketball world and the football world is wired differently. Very much so, because I think that the whole thing is you have an opportunity to get to the postseason.
Here's what I think. I think what you're witnessing there is a macro issue. What am I talking about? It's a societal issue. It's like, what are you talking about, societal issue? I'll explain it to you. What I've realized is that we are entering into the era of where literally everything goes. What's wrong is right. The contrarians now have as big a platform as the people who are making sense. And basically what you see now is things that in the past they would have never been entertained are now actually starting to be accepted and in some cases advocated for by voices out there in the media and beyond. In today's day and age, the things that I see, the things that I witness, the things that I hear people say, you'll be sitting back and saying to yourself, is this where we are? Is this what's really going on? It's almost like reality is being flipped upside down. Literally. The things that people are advocating for these days is absolutely incredible. You're sitting there and you're like, wait a minute. You're sitting up here becoming a champion for this issue when it's an issue that really has no actual benefit on society. But nevertheless, I'm going to take up this cause and I'm going to go around and start arguing and battling with people over it. Let me bring it back to a micro level. I cannot believe I was hearing what I was hearing these guys say on television. Even Mike Greenberg was taken aback. Even him. So let me get this straight. You're essentially trying to intellectualize a loser's mindset. And you're basically saying that the person that is saying, no, there's something fundamentally wrong about losing and sending that message to your players. And you're saying that, no. Losing is not the issue. There's nothing wrong with losing. The issue is saying it publicly. But if you keep it indoors and you quietly operate with that mindset, there's no issue whatsoever. The issue becomes when you admit it publicly. What? So let me get this straight. The Dallas Mavericks, if my memory serves me correctly, they made it deep into the playoffs last year. Good. Coming into this year, a lot of people were speculating that the Dallas Mavericks could be one of the contenders in the West. Some people even felt that Luka Doncic could be one of the finalists to win MVP. Follow me now. Follow me. The season ensues. They're playing games. They're not leading the Western Conference, but nevertheless, they're still within the playoff picture. Then conversations start taking place around the fact that Luka doesn't have enough help. That the minute he goes to the bench, the production begins to tail off. And a lot of people were saying, when are the Dallas Mavericks going to get Luka Doncic some help? When are they going to get him another all-star, a bona fide all-star? Another 25 to 30 point per game scorer? Another ball handler? Another proven guy? When are they going to get him someone like this? Then the Dallas Mavericks, follow me, decide, you know what? We want to get Luka Doncic some help. Follow this. Because we believe if we get him some help, this team could take another step closer to winning a championship. So what did they do? They go out there and they trade for arguably the most electrifying basketball player in the entire world, in Kyrie Irving. They trade for Kyrie Irving, and they start winning some games and they start losing some games. Ultimately, they continue to fall in the standings. And then they get to the end of the season and they're like, I know we just traded for Kyrie Irving, a bona fide all-star, to pair him alongside with Luka Doncic, but we don't think it makes sense to push as hard as we can to try to make it into the playoffs with this group we just assembled to see what we got. Instead, we think it makes better sense to tank on the season and then try to save our 10th pick. And you're telling me that is somehow good for sports? How is that good for sports? Now, some people will say, well, because now you're going to get him more help. And you said that, well, nothing is guaranteed. So then how do you know that that pick is going to materialize into anything whatsoever? To me, what I'm most astounded by is the fact that on a sports media channel, network, you have people advocating for losing. And they're trying to make sense out of it. It's like now we have second place prizes. What the hell is going on today on planet Earth? What's going on? So basically, we're looking at this the wrong way. So if what you're saying is making sense, why didn't Luka Doncic like that idea? Why didn't he like it? To quote Stephen A. Smith, one of his most famous clips was when he was talking about the Pau Gasol Kwame Brown trade. And one of the gentlemen working at ESPN Analysts said, because they were talking about the picks that Stephen A. The Lakers gave up to acquire Pau Gasol. And the guy goes, what about all the picks? And Stephen A. Smith, he said, the picks only matter to scrub teams. That's what he said. The picks only matter to scrub teams. Teams competing for championships don't care about picks. That was one of LeBron's biggest gripes, allegedly, with the Lakers. Y'all are keeping all of these picks. He's like, trade them away so we can try to win now. So picks only mean something to scrub to bad teams. That was the point he made. And you're basically telling me that the Dallas Mavericks should punt on this season to go get a pick in a draft, a 10th pick that will help put them over the top. When was the last time you ever saw a pick that they got in the draft at the 10th pick help you win a championship? When was the last time you ever saw that? Number one. Number two, what kind of message does this send to the locker room? What kind of message does it send? So to me, I was astounded. Like, I was shocked that they were actually trying to make an argument for losing and for having a loser's mindset. It's unbelievable. But this is where we are in the world today. Literally anything goes. Literally. The most ridiculous thing you can think of, there's somebody out there getting ready to start their campaign and is out there fundraising for it. You better believe it.